Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. Today I wanted to make this video to answer some questions to a Q&A that I did on my Instagram account. So I want to answer your guys' questions that you have. But first off, before I jump into those questions, I just want to give a little introduction of who I am, where I'm coming from, and what's going on in my life. So my name is Jessica and I am 28 years old. I'm currently living in Switzerland with my husband and my 2 daughters. I'm originally from Canada, and to be specific, Nova Scotia, the small little province on the east side. And I have been living here in Switzerland for about 5.5 years. So now I want to jump into the questions that you guys have asked me and give you some answers. So let's jump on into that. So the first question is from a friend of mine who is from Finland. Very cool. I met her in the school of ministry in 2011, and I made a lot of friends who are from all over the world, whom are from Europe, and I've been able to have the opportunity to connect with them while I've been here, and that's been a really great thing. The question that she asked is, what do you think is the biggest thing you have grown or learned about yourself since you attended School of Ministry? So I attended a school in Toronto in 2011 called the School of Ministry, and I was able to get a lot of healing in different areas of my life. I would have to say the biggest thing that I've grown from in that school is just being able to overcome things that were very difficult in my life. I would say also like unforgiveness, bitterness in my heart, and also with my relationship with my earthly father, that I was able to have a lot of forgiveness in my heart in that area. And of course, like, no matter what you experience with healing in different areas, they will always come up in different ways. No matter where you are in the world, no matter what you go through, you will always have different things come up that are relating to very big problems you've had in your life, or areas where you haven't had much healing, or just have really affected you in big ways. They normally kind of come in different ways, and I feel like that's our challenge in life, is to overcome them, to go through them, and then you always have a testimony or story to share and encourage other people around you. So that's a great thing. Did you like more the School of Ministry or the Bible school in Australia? So this is leading up into why I'm here in Switzerland. I would have to say there wasn't one that I preferred over the other one. I feel like I experienced both of these schools at certain specific times in my life that I needed to. I feel like the School of Ministry was so good for me in that time of my life. I really felt like I wanted to attend this ministry school to grow as a person, to have self-growth, and to really overcome things in my life, and to figure out who I am as a person, who I am as a child of God, and my identity before I become something in the world. I feel like I had to really work on things in myself as a person before I can help and give on to other people. In Australia, I went to Hillsong Bible College, and that was one of the best experiences in my life because it was in Australia, and Australia is amazing and beautiful, and I'm so saddened to hear of all the fires, wildfires, and everything that's been happening in that country. Yeah, it really hits home because I lived there for a whole year. I have gotten to know people, gotten to know the culture, and yeah, it really, really sucked to see this happening through this past year. I feel like it was an amazing experience for me in that time of my life in 2012. I wouldn't have discovered that I wanted to go there if I didn't go to the School of Ministry, because I feel like that was really revealed to me there, and by being there led me to go to Australia. And yeah, just to answer that question, I didn't prefer just one or the other. I really enjoyed both of them in different times in my life. Another question relating to the Bible colleges and the school ministry that I went to. Somebody asked, what made you choose Bible schools in Toronto and Australia? I feel like I already answered that question with earlier, where I said I felt like I wanted to pursue where I wanted to figure out who I was in the world. before becoming something that the world would identify me as. So I hope that answers that question. I just want to jump all into that again, but yeah. So another person asked me, how is life with two when you're so far away and minimal family support? So I have two questions that are very similar, but to answer this question, it is difficult. I will tell you with no lie about that. When I say difficult, I don't mean unbearable, where I have to run away and go back to Canada. I feel like that's a very safety net, and I feel like just things that I have overcome and experienced in my life prepared me up until this point to be able to do life and experience this here in Switzerland, being apart from family. I couldn't have imagined doing this prior to going to college and just having a bigger perspective in my life. I feel like it would have been a safety net to really go back home to Canada, to be with my family, to have that support. I wouldn't say that I have, it's kind of like 50-50. I don't feel like I have minimal support. I feel like the family that I have here with my husband, they are a very supportive family, and it doesn't matter how big a family might be, it matters how much that family is willing to invest into, put into your life. And I really feel like my sister-in-laws and my mother-in-law have really invested so much, and my father-in-law have invested so much into my life with coming here and helping me to adjust to the culture and just making me feel at home. And that's what I really love about my husband's family is that they're very multicultural, and I wasn't coming in here being intimidated, overwhelmed. There were definitely times where I felt overwhelmed, but I feel like it's just little things that we kind of come across in life. If it's not here, then it's going to happen somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely have to say I do have quite a bit of support. It's just those certain days where people are busy and you're kind of by yourself, and well, you're with your kids, but you feel kind of like that little isolation, where I would love to just be able to go over to like one of my cousins or one of my aunt's house or to my gram and just be like, hey, how's it going? Like let's go visit with the kids and just really spend that quality time. And that's something that I really cherish and I value when I go home, because I don't get this often, and I do miss my family terribly, and it's a very difficult thing to talk about. But yeah, so I feel really blessed and fortunate just with today, with social media, with like being able to FaceTime video call. This is such an advantage that we have today, so it definitely makes the process a little bit easier and manageable, you might as well say. Another question is, when will you become a doula? So I have expressed on my Instagram that I would love to pursue becoming a doula. I have this really passion in my heart to pursue this occupation, because I feel like I've experienced 2 home births and I've been trying to figure out what I want to do for a while. And I feel like just being here in Switzerland, experiencing those 2 things, I've been able to have many opportunities to encourage my friends who've been in labor, who are going into labor, encouraging them that they can do it. And I just felt this immense of like, I don't know how to explain it, an immense of like joy and passion in me that I never felt. I felt different things in my life, but I feel like in this area, it's like I went through this, I experienced it, I overcame, and I just want to encourage women that they're strong and they can overcome and surpass that it's only a temporary pain, it's a temporary thing that they will go through. And I just feel really passionate in that area to encourage women, whatever their decision may be, how they give birth. It's totally up to every woman how they're comfortable and how they want to give birth. I just feel passionate in me to just encourage them through the process, even through a pregnancy and all of that kind of stuff. So I do not know when that will start. I hope soon. I would prefer if we were living in Canada, to pursue that instead of being here. It's hard. Yeah, I can't really share too much with a lot of things. But let's just say I hope it will be in the next couple years that I can pursue this occupation, whether it be that or something else. So we will see. Another question, do you miss working? Yes, who would not miss working? I have a lot of people who ask me, or who say like, you are so blessed and like so lucky to be a stay-at-home mom. And you know what, I am. That is an amazing thing, an opportunity that I have. But I do miss working. I do miss being able to bring money in the house, like to be able to feel that independence and just to feel like my own kind of person. And just as a woman, I feel like there's those areas where you do miss, and being able to talk to adults. Like I'm talking to kids every day, the whole day. So it's like sometimes I'm talking to adults, like I will even talk to my husband in a certain way, and I'm like, oh, that's how I would talk to like one of our kids. I'm like, oops, had to kind of take a step back because I'm just with kids all the time. I really do miss working in a lot of areas. But I really see that I'm meant to be where I am today, in these seasons where I am a stay-at-home mom and how much I can invest in my children. We just agreed that this is the best thing for right now for us as a little family, and that I can give this to my children this time. And being a stay-at-home mom is a lot of work. It's not easy, and it's very difficult and challenging at a lot of times. I can make a whole separate video talking about being a stay-at-home mom. If you want me to, you can totally comment in the comments and I would be sure to do that, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that you experience being a stay-at-home mom. So a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties, and a lot of rewarding moments as well. So it's really rewarding. Another question someone asked was, how do you deal with being so far away from your family, especially with your babies? And that's the same question somebody else asked. Before, when it was just me and my husband, it wasn't that difficult to say goodbye and leave, but I feel like now with having children, especially two, the more that we say goodbye when we go to Canada, because we usually go about once or twice in the year, every time when we say goodbye it gets more difficult because I see my family crying and they're hurt. And I see my kids starting to get emotional where they kind of like turn off a bit. When we get home, there's always the questions from like our 3.5-year-old, like, when are we going to Canada next? And like this last trip that we went on to, our 3.5-year-old, she had many moments where she woke up in the middle of the night screaming and crying and just saying, I want to go to Canada, I want to go to Canada, I want to go on the airplane now. And just like all this stuff. And you're just like, it like breaks your heart. And so yeah, it is really difficult being away from family because of things like that. So another question is, how is it living in Europe? Do you guys have family there, or is it just your little family? So I have answered, I feel like, in the other questions. We do have family here, which I'm so thankful for. It's a big family for Switzerland, but it is a smaller type of family. Consider like in Canada, I feel like we have really big families, especially being native. We have like really big families. I definitely miss that, having family all around all the time, having that support system. I miss that because that's where I come from. And here it's like you have kind of like your boundaries, which I think is really good. It's healthy, I feel like. And I actually look back to where I come from, like, that's not really healthy. That's not really healthy. There should be boundary there. But it's like, it works. It works there and it works here. I think living in Europe as a whole, I feel like you could say like in Switzerland or in Europe, because Switzerland is very small, but they're very Swiss. They have their very Swiss way compared to all of Europe. And I feel like just living in Europe in general, it's really cool with all the history, and there's a lot of old buildings here. There's a lot of old places here that have been here for so many years. And I think that's so fascinating that compared to Canada, we don't really have many of those kind of things. And I feel like here, this is a really special thing. Apartments are older and people are fine with that. And it's just a European kind of like style of living. And we don't really live like that in North America, well, in Canada, where I come from. I just want to be able to finish this video with two last questions. And one question says, what are the secondhand clothing stores like where you're living in Europe? I have personally not been to any really secondhand clothing stores, so I really don't know. I know with being to secondhand furniture shops, they can be very expensive, which I was shocked about because I'm looking at the quality. My baby's over there playing. I'm looking at the quality of certain things and I'm just like, oh, that's gonna be cheap, and it turns out to be really expensive. I personally don't shop secondhand clothing here. If they had really cool shops, maybe I just haven't discovered them. I totally would do it. I'm gonna close this video because my little baby's awake and I have to give her some attention and give her some loving. Yeah. I really hope that you enjoyed this Q&A video, and I would love to answer any other questions you guys have regarding being a stay-at-home mom, just things that I'm experiencing living in Switzerland, living in Europe, living abroad, the challenges I might have that through the past 5.5 years, because definitely there have been a lot. If you would also like to see a whole separate video on being a stay-at-home mom, just leave me your questions below. I would love to answer them. Would love to do more videos like this. And yeah, you can write me in the comments. You can send me a DM on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram account in the description below. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and I look forward to doing more. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, so until next time, bye.